Lesson for today. My name is Tsidi Moatludi, and today I'll be doing with you exchange rates and percentages. I'm the subject advisor for mathematical literacy in the Garib district. Now, like I've said, today we'll be doing the exchange rates and percentages. So if we can start with percentages, I think by now we all know what the exchange rates, we are going to start with exchange rates, sorry. I'm sure by now we all know the explanation or what exchange rates mean. And by exchange rates, this is the rate at which, if we can just look at the explanation there, this is the rate at which you can exchange one Canadian dollar. So 1 rand will be equals to 0,112 US Australian dollar. The second one is Canadian dollar. This means that 1 rand will be equals to 0,114 Canadian dollar. So it means when we are converting in our examples, in our exercise for today, rands to US dollar, we are going to use this middle column. But if we are now converting from rand to the dollars to the dollars, from rands to dollars, sorry, grade 12, from rands to dollars, it means our 1 rand will be worth 8,961. So this is the table that we are going to use to answer questions in the examples and in our exercises. So I'll keep on coming back to this table for us to answer questions. Let us look at the first example, which is Lindy and Sizwe are going on a trip to Europe and Great Britain. They plan to take euros and British pounds. Now the first one is saying, how many euros will Lindy get for 10,000 rand? Which means if Lindy leaves the country with 10,000 rand and gets to Europe, how many euros is Lindy going to have? Now let us go back to our table and look at the column that we are going to use. we are talking about the euro, the euros. This is the part that we are going to use. This is the part that we are going to use. Remember, we are converting from rands to euros. So we are going to use the middle one there. So in this case, we are saying 1 is worth, 1 euro is worth 0.0885. Sorry, 885. I hope you can all see that. Let me use a clean page. We are saying in this case that how many euros will Lindy get for 10,000 rand? Now in this case we said 1 rand, sorry about that, grade 12, is equals to 0, from the table is 885. This is the sign for US dollars. Now it means if we are converting 10,000 to euros, we are going to multiply, it's a 10,000, and then multiply by 0.885. Let us all use our calculators to check if the answer that we are going to get. It's 10,000. Let me switch it on. It's going to be 10,000 multiplied by, what is the number that we are multiplying with? 0. There is a 0 there. Sorry, there is a 0 there. Sorry. 0, multiplied by 0.0885. And then equals to, there is the answer, 885. So the answer that we get is 885 US, it's euros, sorry, euros. So this is the answer that we get when we convert 10,000 to the euros, which means Lindy will be having 885 euros. The second one, and grade 12, I advise you to work along with me, please. Whenever we have to use the calculator, please also use the calculator, so that when you don't understand, you can be assisted. The second one, it's saying how many pounds will Sizwe get for 15,000? How many pounds will Sizwe get for 15,000? Let us go back to our table and check. Are we going to use pounds? This is the currency for Britain, British. There you go. So this is the section that we are going to use. This is the information that we are going to use. This means that 1 rand is equals to 0.0721. Now, Sizwe is saving how much? 15,000 rand. 15,000 rand. So in order for us to know how many pounds will Sizwe have, we are going to multiply 15,000 by 0.0721. Let us all grab our calculators and check the answer for this one. 15,000. Let me remove everything from the screen. 15,000 multiplied by 0.0721. Let us check the answer. With this calculator, this is the button that you must press for you to get the normal answer that you are looking for. So the answer in this case, remember we are converting to pounds. So the answer in this case is 1081 point. Remember we are dealing with money, so you cannot leave your answer after the comma as only 1 unit. There must be how many units? I'm sure we all know that there must be 2 units after the comma. So it's 1081,50. Okay, grade 12s. Let us move to the next one. The next one is saying, Lindy came back from Great Britain with 20 pounds. We said this is pounds. With 20 pounds, how many ZAR will she get for it. By remember the sign, we are referring to our South African rand. So how many ZAR will Lindy get when she comes back to Africa? Let us go back to the table and check how many rands will Lindy get. Which information are we going to use? We are going to use this one because Lindy is having a pound. We are looking at how many rands will Lindy get. So in this case, it's grade 12. It's 1 pound, which is equals to 13 rand 87 cents. 13 rand 87 cents. Now, if Lindy is having 20 pounds, how much will Lindy have? So in this case, we have to multiply. So this will be 20 multiplied by 13.87. Let us check by using our calculators. What will the answer be? 20 multiplied by 13.87. Remember, this is the button that you have to press. So Lindy will be having 277 rands, comma, after a comma, we are having a 4. But we know that we must have 2 units after a comma. So it will be 277 rand 40 cents. I hope you still follow grade 12s because some of you did this workbook during the September classes. But since other learners didn't get a chance to do the examples and the exercises on the workbook, that is why we are doing them again today. But there are other questions again that we have included so that you get a chance to see how these questions will be asked in the question paper. So let us move to the next example. The next example is saying the USD to the South African rand exchange rate on day 1 is 1. I given the ratio there. It's 1:8.645. This is day 1. And then on day 2, the US dollar against the South African rand exchange rate is 2 is 1 is to 8.943. Now the question is saying, did the South African rand strengthen or weaken against the US dollar from day 1 to day 2? Explain your answer. So let us look at the information that is given. This is day 1. This is day 2. Now, did the South African rand strengthen or weaken? On day 1, 1 US dollar was equals to 8.645. The second day, it was 1 US dollar against 8.943. So I think the answer the answer here is quite obvious that our rand becomes weaker because as you can see on day 2 we paid more than what we paid on day 1. If you look at these two numbers, this one is much bigger than this one. So this means that day 2 we paid more than what we paid on day 1. So our South African rand weakened in day 2. I hope we are still following. On the now exercise, which we are going to do together, since I've explained on the examples, they are saying them Brian and Julia are going on a trip to Great Britain and Europe, where they will use euros and British pounds. So number 1, how many euros will Brian get for 8,000? How many euros will Brian get for 8,000? Let us go to our table. Let us go. This is the information, remember, which was provided to us. Brian is having 8,000. Brian is having 8,000. which column are we going to use? Are you going to use this column or are you going to use this one? Grade 12s, which column are we going to use? Are we going to use this one or are we going to use this one? I'm sure most of you agrees that we are going to use the middle column. So let us see. In this is equals to €1. Sorry about the symbol of a euro. Is equals to, no, it's 1 rand. Sorry, 1 rand is equals to 0,0885. 1 rand is equals to 0,885 euros. And then, if Brian and Julia are having 8,000, we have to multiply that by 0,0885. And then what is the answer? Let us quickly calculate that. What is the answer? Right, it's 8,000 multiplied by 0,0885 equals to, it's 708. 708. 708 what? Remember, mathematical literacy symbols are very, very important. 708 what? Euros. So that is the sign for euros. So don't forget to put the sign in front. Perfect. Number 2. This is the second one. What amount in South African rand? I'm sure we all know by now that this symbol stands for South African rand. Will Julia need to buy 1,000 pounds? What amount in South African rand will Julia need to buy 1,000 pounds? Back to the table. Back to the table. We are looking at this column, at this row. We are looking at that row. Now, are we going to use this one? Are we going to use this one? Are we going to use this one? Or are you going to use this one? I think we all agree that we are going to use this one. Thank you. So let us go back to our example. 1 pound in this case is equals to 13 rand 87. 1 pound is equals to 13 rand 87. Now they are having 1,000 pounds. How much will they need in order for them to buy this? How much will they need in rands in order for them to have 1,000 pounds? So in this case, you're going to take 1,000 pounds and then you multiply it by 13 rand 87. So what is the answer in this case? What will be the answer? Let us do it together. It's 1,000 multiplied by 13 rand 87. There we are. It's 13,870, 00. Remember, is the money. There must be some digits after a comma. Now, the unit there. What will be the unit there? The unit will be rand. So it's 13,870. So in order for them to buy 1,000 pounds, it means they must leave South Africa having 13,870. I hope grade 12s you are still following, because this is a very nice and easy topic in mathematical literacy. The next one. They are saying Maggie came back from a trip abroad and had some money in foreign currencies to exchange. Calculate the amount in South African rand she will get for The first one, what is that unit? The first one, those are the euros. So how much will she get? How much will she get if she's having 15 euros? Back to the to our table. This is the row that we are going to use. I want to believe this is the row that we are going to use. Are we going to use this one or are we going to use this one? Okay, I think we all agree. So in this case, we are saying 1 rand is equals to, sorry,